Thank you for supporting our channel. Thank you for supporting Wizan. Please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell for any future videos.
And be falling asleep with the people who would be asleep from Connecticut in the back. And we always had Vicks inhalers. And still today, I still have one. And
why?
Because if you stick one of those up your nose while they're asleep in the back, and if you're really tired, and you push them both up your nose, you'll never fall asleep when breathing through those.
Well, you can stick your fingers up there, can't you?
No, it's the inhaling of it, isn't it? It's going to hit you.
You actually brought us nicely into that story. No, so I wanted to ask you, I was wondering whether I can ask you a bit more about Barbara, like what she did and where she's from and things like that. And yeah.
No, I'll do the best I can.
Well, of course, yeah. If you don't feel like it, don't do it.
Well, it will overwhelm me eventually.
Of course it will.
Well, she started life off in Dickens Square, as I said, grew up as a child there. And I was in South London. And we slowly, as a family, we grew out, slowly moved our way out. When Mum, as the family got bigger, Mum and Dad moved out at Deptford, Camberwell, New Cross, then Charlton, and into Woolwich that way. And then that's where I met Barbara when we were in Charlton. And we were childhood sweethearts. We knew each other. When I was 20, she was 16. I mean, we were married a year later. That's crazy at those times. You see it in today's life. You think, child snatcher almost. But and we very, very quickly had 4 beautiful children.
Yep.
We say beautiful,
Yeah, and I've got 2 ugly ones. You've got 2 ugly ones, Dave.
Terrible.
One's got a big full beard and he's a cab driver.
That's the women.
That's the girl. That's my daughter.
And I don't know. And then we slowly moved out slightly further and further. I was a school teacher, and she was a school teacher as well. And we did that for 20, 25 years. And then,
Kids? You was teaching kids?
Yep. I was teaching in secondary school, teaching 11 to 18-year-olds, and I was teaching woodwork.
Yep.
What schools?
I started at Kemnall Manor in Sidcup, and I've walked in St Thomas More School in Eltham, in New Eltham. Worked in, I can't get the words out now, Gravesend Grammar School for girls, and also Wilmington Grammar School for boys.
Yeah.
I think you just have a career in different types of schools. I worked for a while down at Ashford. I only went there for 2 weeks. They kept me for 18 months. They wouldn't let me come out. I was doing too good with the kids. It was brilliant. I was working in Hogwarts.
How did you do? I couldn't bear. I just imagine my own school. I was with Morpeth Comprehensive.
That's it.
And I just remember the teachers and thinking to myself, what a job. I cannot believe anybody would want to be doing this kind of job. Have you ever watched the series 7 Up?
No.
7 Up is every 7 years they do.
Oh, no, I know you. Yes, yeah, they come back to the
14
same
up.
yeah.
So one of the guys is a famous cab driver. He's from Bethnal Green. And the other guy is a school teacher. And he goes around. And he was our school teacher for a year. And we made him cry. We abused him so much. He cried and left the classroom. It's traumatised me my whole life, the fact that we managed to do as kids. What horrible things.
Kids can be awful, can't they, at times?
Oh, yeah.
They can be so good and so bad.
Well, it can be, can't it? But at the same time, you get involved in the collective, don't you? So as a class, it wasn't you individually, was it? It was you as a group of children. And you would then get safety in your anonymity, and you just keep applying the pressure and more, and you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and eventually you'll break him down. And you go past his tolerance level. Yeah. And I've had my tolerance level pushed way beyond. But I'm okay. I've got a key to the door. I can leave.
So you came away from that. Would you take retirement from that? Or what did you do?
I took early retirement.
Early retirement.
Whilst I was working in one school, I was forced by the head teacher, bullied is another word, isn't it, to go and help out another school which had failed 3 Ofsteds and lots of measures to put the school back in line again. It'd been earmarked for closure, and the diocese down there asked for one more attempt, and providing they funded it all. So the school sent me down there as head of department, go down, sort out the curriculums, find out what's wrong, change everything, do whatever you like down there. So I went down there, brought the staff up to our school. Oh, your children are lovely, and it's the same kids really. And then we bring the kids up, and we take our kids down there. Our kids were crying, "Don't leave me here, sir. Bring me back." Because the kids were like, getting drunk in the playground, smoking.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
There was
That's cool.
All the problems at the school were all came from the top. All came from very poor management. And if you don't enforce the rules, then the rules will slowly disappear.
Yes.
And then if you try to appease the children, again they take advantage of that. So we went down there and we put a whole range of packages in place to rescue it, and it took about 24 months, but over 3 years. So 6 months, then a whole year. But halfway through the second year, when I got paid, I got £13,000 in my paycheck at Easter. My wife's mum got a holiday. I said no, because they want it back. You know they want it back. You know, and you don't. I should only be getting about 1,500 quid at the time. And I got. And added a note.
Was it a bonus?
No,
it was a mistake.
No, because I worked in 2 schools. I had to wait till the end of Easter. When I went back and in to see them, they said, "No, you've been working 2 schools. You have to have 2 salaries."
Oh.
Oh, you didn't tell me that before I went. And he said, no, we didn't want to tell you because we wanted the right people to go. You know, so I went down. So I got double salaried for 2 years over 3. And then when the government changed the pension schemes, it's your pension is based on the best 3 years in your last 10. So those 3 years were obviously my best because I was double paid.
Oh, you had a result.
But I had about another 2 years to go before they fell off the bottom.
Yeah.
So I had to retire.
Now,
Yes.
At
Jump.
55, I made it by a month. If I'd have been a month younger, I wouldn't have made it in time, and I'd have dropped off the bottom.
Oh dear. Yeah.
can I ask
Yeah,
you,
which one?
how old are you now?
I'm now at the moment 62.
Next young man.
Wonderful, though, isn't it?
I retired from school at 55.
Yeah.
I had to take a reduced pension because you lose 20% of it because it's 4% for every year, and you were meant to go at 60. Then now you have to work till you're 67. That's why they changed all the rules, and I was really fortunate. For normally that happens to other people.
Yeah.
At the time, you hear stories like that, and you think,
Yeah.
our day, one day.
And how did that equate to getting to the knowledge?
That's my son. Well, I'm going to blame my brother Mark. First of all, he went out and he was doing the knowledge, and he encouraged my son to do it. My eldest son, Richard, and he was out there doing it with him. And then my brother Mark stopped at the end of Blue Book 1 because he moved out. He's gone out to Lordswood and out that way. I said, that's not far. You can still do it, but he didn't want to do it. So then my son did it, and my wife's going, "Oh, don't let him go out on a motorbike. I don't want him to go on a motorbike."
Yeah.
Barbara said, go with him on the night. I don't want him on a motorbike. Go with him. She said, it's only a fad. He'll pass in 2 or 3 weeks. Of course, 3 weeks later, I'm hooked and I'm up to here with it. Because I suppose it's because I've been a while, because I've had a degree from a long while ago, and I'm at school doing list after list after list. So I thought, that's it. And of course, I'm in there writing down a list, planning it all out, planning out the routes. Follow four forward, 4 backwards, come home again. We were doing like a list a week sort of thing. And we did all 4 books in a year.
Yeah.
And then we made a few mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put in for a map test. Didn't know what pointing meant then.
I don't see them as mistakes. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, the common thing.
6.5 years later, I do want to disagree with you.
Oh well, that part I can't talk for. But
When you said you did them forwards and backwards.
Well,
as you went.
Well, it says you have to learn them, mate. So
you don't take them literally, Mick. That's the first mistake you made.
So what it was, because I thought you just had to learn those lists.
If that was the curriculum.
Yeah, I got that little blue book from them, that white blue book, and you look, it says learn all these forwards and backwards and pick up some points along the way. It didn't say you got to learn 20,000 points.
Yeah, they distort the curriculum.
And we will never ask you the roads that we've given you to learn. Mm-hmm. So it's actually quite funny, really, that part of it. But
you did a lot of work there.
I did a ton of it.
Yeah.
I almost ended up doing it twice. I got wiped out in a car halfway through.
Oh, God. Again,
I was getting ready to drop onto me 21s. I got wiped out. And I knew I'd been in a car crash, so I cut the roof off. All right, okay.
Oh, you were in a car? And
I was sitting there waiting for it, and there was nothing behind me. And then all of a sudden there was a great BMW came down from the traffic lights. A woman had just got home from Turkey at 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's gone over the top of you.
So straight in, picked me up, and wrote the car off in front, and smashed the car up as well, and used my car as a
concertina,
as a crumple zone.
So you never had the Vicks inhaler?
Yeah, the Vicks inhaler. No, Dave's top tip if you're ever tired. 2 Vicks inhalers.
What shifts do you do? Do you work shifts?
I was on my way to school.
No, I know that you was then. I mean, but now. Because when I used to drive as a private hire driver years ago, we used to pick up from Heathrow at 5 in the morning after doing a night shift, 5, and we'd go down to Pfizer, down to Sandwich, and be falling asleep with the people who would be asleep from Connecticut in the back. And we always had Vicks inhalers. And still today, I still have one. And
why?
Because if you stick one of those up your nose while they're asleep in the back, and if you're really tired, and you push them both up your nose, you'll never fall asleep when breathing through those.
Well, you can stick your fingers up there, can't you?
No, it's the inhaling of it, isn't it? It's going to hit you.
You actually brought us nicely into that story.
How long have you kept them in your pocket so you could do
For the last 30 years, I've had them in my pocket. I used to use them.
You never know when you're going to need them.
Yeah.
You never know.
You'd be surprised what else I've got in my pocket.
No, I don't want to know. But I hope this podcast is a bit better than that. You're not going to need that.
No. Well,
I certainly won't fall asleep.
That is comparable to the movie, isn't it? The knowledge movie, basically. Nigel Hawthorne.
I've seen the film.
Yeah, well, he does one bit where he sticks a Vicks inhaler up his nose and he starts asking questions to this candidate about the appearance, and he's standing there with a Vicks inhaler, and the student's like,
he must have been tired.
He probably was. He got the tip from you.
So it shows that everyone who's done the knowledge has such a story. Come on, come back to where you was. What happened? What happened in the crash?
It just crushed us, and I just woke up and went and done an appearance.
You had an
What?
appearance.
When?
About a week or so after that.
All right, yep.
And he's asked, and who was it was in there? I think it was Hall. And he's asked me the questions. I have no idea. And I've got the Fulham Road and the King's Road
Mixed up.
switched over like that.
Yeah.
And it goes from there to the Edgware Road. So the Harrow Road and all of Paddington didn't exist.
Yeah.
And it's all closed off in my mind in a map. And they were asking me Blue Book runs, and I couldn't even do basic Blue Book. And like, I'm on getting ready to go to 21s. I couldn't do, I couldn't do anything. Missing huge gaps. And they went, I'm going to have to put you back. I said, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? I said, like, I was going to go back to the beginning of 28. So I went, no, he said, put you back. I said, what, back to 56s? I said, I've got another red line yet. He went, no, he said, we've got to put you right back. I said, what? But back to the match? I went, no. I went, no. I said, right back.
Back indoors.
He said, yeah. He said, you're going to have to go back. He said, you've got to go and learn it again. He said, you've forgotten everything. He said, just go back. And I went back, and I cried my bloody eyes out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
My son's come out, did you get your drop, Dad? I forgot.
Come on.
Dropped, all right. Yeah, I was dropped right out.
Oh, Jesus.
He was getting ready to come out. He was getting ready to qualify at the time, and I'd fallen behind him slightly, but I thought I'd be like 2 or 3 months behind him, but it ended up 3 years behind him.
Wow.
But I would say when I came back the second time, I went C, all the way through. Got 1D from Mr. Patel in the 21s, but I think I didn't mind that, to be honest with you. I didn't deserve all C's.
I don't think you can spell C, can you?
Yeah, Mr. Patel.
And
No.
but I didn't mind that, not at all afterwards. I knew I was dedicated to it. I remember I was sat in an exam with Mr. Thomas once, and the map for the very, very, very first time I'd ever seen it. When someone said you can see the map, I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
And I see it once when they did a little BBC programme, and they were showing you someone calling it, and they were doing the knowledge, and you could see like a glass map.
Yeah.
And you're looking down through that map, and that's for the first time ever that happened to me in an exam, in one of the appearances. And I sat up, and I said, I could see it. I could see the whole map. I could see the whole thing. And he like that, and he said to me, you can see the map, can't you? And Harry knew that I could. I don't know. I mean, they must have seen it all the time, but to me, it was like a eureka moment. Then, and he said, "You'll make a great cabbie." Gave me my D.
Normally.
He said no. He said because the map disappeared again after about 5 minutes, just wash, like a balloon bursting. He said, "Don't worry, it'll come back. It'll come back."
Yeah,
that's it.
So we have to watch out for the advice that you give to students on doing the knowledge.
Yeah, ignore me.
What I was going to say there though is you started the knowledge then when you was 50 plus.
Mm-hmm.
What was you, 54?
Yeah, I think I'm right about 53.
53, because I get a question very often, it crops up, someone in their 50s is always, even late 40s, and sometimes 60s, am I too old to do the knowledge? And I always think to myself, if you've got nothing else really to do, if you don't have a good job at the moment, a really high paying job or a freedom job or anything else, then this is the absolute perfect thing to do at our age. You ain't doing nothing else, so spend some time, dedicate to it, and then for the last part of our lives and career, what a job.
Changed my life, without a doubt. I know I was technically coming into... I did at the time when I started this, I didn't have early retirement in mind. I didn't know that existed at that time because those things hadn't come to fruition. So once I started this, but once I got this job, once I got this badge,
yeah,
I'd come back.
And you got that number. Show that number again. Look at that.
Funny enough, this made it into the LTDA mag or online. The first 80 badges here, boys, they photographed that one, but they managed to cut me out of it.
Oh, right.
So I didn't make it in, but the badge
Story of my life,
you know, there's only 2 badges in that genre that's better than yours, which is the 0 and the 8.
Yeah,
the 80008 is the one to have.
Oh, I like that one.
Well, the guy that got the 80,000 one, he got it from Tony Swire.
Me too, yeah.
And Mr. Swire said to him, when he see the badge number, he said, make sure you don't do anything wrong, because it'll be easy for people to remember your number.
Yeah, true. But it's the same as the private plate thing we said, Dave. Yeah. Don't have a private number plate.
Gonna spot you.
Yeah.
Just be a good boy, you're all right.
Well, yeah, but the private plate is more sort of for us cab drivers, because the other cab drivers remember who you are, and they never forget the fare that you nicked. Yeah. So don't have a private plate for that aspect. Right, so we're on to this Unify, which is quite... I have chosen to know as little as possible. So how you've even got this far?
Well, it's quick.
It's a long story, to be honest with you. It might seem quick because I've suddenly come on the scene in the last month. I mean, the official launch date for this was the 17th of last month. And come to this month already, and I'll come back to that later on, but this started way before then. Almost when I qualified, there were other platforms and other apps that I'd got involved with, and they kind of... I was out there dedicated as everybody else, putting your money in every month, you know. I was very much heavily involved in it when it was holistic. And when I felt it was for everybody, like when it was the big co-op. And because everything you were doing for yourself, but you were doing for the greater good, and it felt right. at the time. When I was out there, I was going out getting lots of liveries put on the sides of vehicles as well, and encouraging drivers to come in and join us. And then it suddenly changed, and it seemed that it was owned by Ford, or more owned by Ford than it was by everybody, apparently. I don't know the ins and outs of all of it because I was still very new into the trade. I'd just come out. I was still a butter boy, really, and I was trying to do that, squeeze that through COVID. So we were trying to do that in such a way as to get the app to work and be successful. Yeah. And then everybody just left. Yep. You know, there was like a big exodus, and it all just kind of just slowly faded away from it. So I learned a little bit about apps. Did
you program it?
No.
No, okay. You got developers on the case.
I'm a cab driver.
Yeah.
If I could program, I'd be programming.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself at the time, come away from it, and we were looking. I was doing a lot of work for taxi charity for military veterans, and even poppy cabs with Mike Hughes as well at the time, just trying to help out as much as possible and do the greater good. I was even looking at going away with the children on the magical.
Yeah, we were talking about that just now. Yeah.
And at that time, we were still working. I was still very close with children at the time, so we kind of just held off on that for a little bit because it was still just stepped away from schools, and I just thought, I'd give myself a break.
Yeah.
Right? And even this Unify didn't exist at that stage. We were doing lots of work for the veterans, and we sort of. And my wife said, "Well, surely," said, "all you cab drivers can all get together." That's what she said. That's Barbara. She said, must be able to all get together." I said, "Well, that's where we were all together." She said, "Yeah, but they really wasn't, was they?" She said, "You must be able to get it all together." And she said, "And stop trying to take all the money from it, everybody. Everybody wants it, don't they? They all want their percentages. They want this percentage. She said, why don't you just use that?" And she said, "And give that to the charities." She said, "If you can get them all to come together," and, you know, she said, "You're trying to unite everyone." The word "unify" didn't exist. It's Micky's, you know, charity cabs. You know what I mean? And because, and I said it before. I mean, I thought I was in charge, but I really clearly wasn't. You know what I mean? And at that stage, because I mean, the drive was there from me, but she had the idea. She said, "If you can get them all to come together," she said, "and put them all up and unify them all together." And I mean, I've said it again before. 2:00 in the morning, her words come back when you're laying in bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, unify. And I woke her up. Oh, big mistake. I woke her up. I said, "Unify." I said, "You've got the right name for it. Unify London taxis. Put them together." It's what she said, and she went, "Fuck off." She said, "I'm trying to sleep. It's 2:00 in the morning." But I understood. She said it nicely. She was never really aggressive like that. But but then we spoke about it for about 2 or 3 minutes like that. And then she went, "We'll talk about it more in the morning." And we went back to bed, but I couldn't sleep. And that's where the words came from.
Yeah. Well, you know, our trade is far from unified.
Yes.
It is one of the problems. And everybody starts slagging each other off in this industry.
Well, I've noticed that.
Yeah, and you should basically, if you haven't got anything good to say nothing is the idea. And we should, you see anything, you should promote. But at the same time now, we're caught in the idea of maybe that's what I'm seeing with Taxi App now. I want to get the full story behind Taxi App because I don't know. You might be an expert on the way the trade works because it works exactly the same way a group of 14-year-old schoolboys works, whereas the hierarchy structure is who is the strongest, loudest, baddest, not the most intelligent, articulate and whatever. So there is a lot of people that would quite happily have great ideas and get involved who don't because they just cannot be bothered through the fact of having to put up with schoolyard tantrums and bullying and not being able to say why you're wrong.
Yeah, like friendship groups. And I mean, like 2 different friendship groups refusing to meet as such. Yes. I've seen a little bit of it, but since I've done this, I found the opposite. I found that everybody, regardless of who they are, have all come behind me and have all pushed it forward. This is perfect. This is what we need. This is what's wanted. This is what we need. And what can we do to help? And again, I'll come back into that in a little while later in a minute. But again, if I can take that conversation back to where I was developing this with Barbara, and it was her idea to actually do this, run the app, get 800 or 900 drivers, run the app, enough to run the app, and then be able to put like 5-10 grand into the charities every year, or to put the profits into charities because we didn't really need the money. And we were doing this, and we were starting to get the development side of it, and we had some fun and games. I'll be honest with you. I ended up in Leeds at the developer's office, and I got into the room, and I'm sitting there, and there's 4 guys on the table, and they've all got pens and pads, and they give me blank sheets of paper. "What do you want?" I said, "Well, I want an app." And he went, "Well, yeah, well, what do you want it to look like?" I said, "Well, like an app."
Yeah.
He said, well, what have you got a logo? I don't think we even had Unify taxis at the time, but I didn't realise. I thought that they gave you what you wanted. You know what I mean?
You didn't have to explain it.
No, you have to go and tell them what you want, what colours, what shape, where do you want the buttons, what do you want this button to do,
Yes.
how do you want it to work?
Yeah.
I said it, I had to go away, come back another week later with some ideas and some plans.
And then you can't. That's another thing. I mean, obviously, I have experience in developing apps.
Yeah.
I design my apps from the ground up, and to make it the cheapest possible, you've got to get every single idea correct first go.
Yeah.
And it's impossible
Yes,
to do.
it is. Yeah, you have
So-
different iterations and
Yes.
you change things, and we did that when to your cost along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, we changed things. Some things it seems like a good idea, and when you put it in practice, it didn't work.
I think they seem to be. Well, the last time I spoke with the taxi app guys, who are the current taxi app guys and the people in this industry with the apps, they seem to talk about it as if it's complex, and I don't particularly see it from my perspective as being complex. The whole idea, I thought, and this might be where you've got it, I thought if I did this, I wouldn't be in a partnership or a cooperative or a company. It would be me. I'd be able to get this going, and I would do it from a passion. And again, this might be what you're doing it from. And to establish it, it mustn't cost anybody else anything, because you want them to be involved. And this is my theory on the biggest downfall of taxi app was the subscription fee of making people have to pay to be on it when you needed them completely.
I think didn't they start off by all putting the money in because they didn't have any money to get
That
the
would
app
be interesting.
developed?
I don't know
I
that.
think that was originally they started. Didn't they buy a driver's app first, and then once they had the driver's app, they all put in and had the customer app developed afterwards. I think,
Right.
and it got built as they went on. I
Yep.
believe. I mean, you'd have to check with the guys. I don't know.
How is yours at the moment then, Mick? What's the stage of yours? The customer app and the app itself, are you up and running?
Yes, it's up and running. We launched it last month.
Yep.
on the
And you have drivers?
We have 10% of the trade. We have 1,500 drivers plus.
Well, and you have customers?
Customers are coming. I won't go into numbers, but we're pushing the 1,000. I have not asked the drivers to put customers on it yet.
No.
Because if I can't cover the drivers, if I can't cover the customer
Customers.
requests, we have no app.
Yep.
You have to have drivers first and foremost.
You need all the drivers first, absolutely.
So we got 1,500 drivers from word of mouth. Really, it's not.
Yep.
It's been in some places in the trade, and the drivers we will talk to each other, as you know. But the trade have started to get behind us now. I mean, even Grant Davis, just this week alone. Just look, I don't know if I can hold that up. Is that visible?
Yes.
Is that visible on there?
Yes, that should be. I'll take a picture of it.
And he gave me a whole page in his badge magazine, free of charge.
Yeah. Did the other firm give you that, the LTDA
I've
magazine?
been over to LTDA and I spent an hour and a half with Steve McNamara as well. He's blown away with what we've done here.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's the altruistic value of it as well, with the fact that all the profits, once we've actually run the app, all the profits go to charity.
Yes.
And I didn't envisage it. It's changed in the last month. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just blown me away. I've had to have several moments where I've had to pull off the road sometimes and just pull over because I couldn't believe the numbers of drivers that have come through. I was just finding it back now. I can't believe how everyone seems to have got behind me.
Yep.
We're
not behind you. We actually don't. We want it to fail, Dave, don't we? Unify?
I'm not on it at the moment, but I will go on it. He probably won't approve me.
We tried to make it, and we have to be careful here because we were sat down when we sat down right at the very beginning and think to ourselves, well, what is it that we're trying to do? How is it that the drivers have to... And they're either giving huge chunks of the fare to somebody else or the customers are being charged huge excessive prices over the top. And it says in the TfL literature that it's £2 you can apply for a booking. And we did the costs, and I tell you, when we did it, it came out well and truly within the £2 cost. We can actually run it very easily. It doesn't matter how busy it gets.
No, see.
And the drivers don't have to pay a penny. I mean, obviously, I'm going to have to have a fight yet to come, I think, with the credit card companies eventually. Okay, but we'll sort them out. But because that's Stripe at the moment.
Well, yeah, see, because that was my other thing when I was thinking about this as an app. The running costs and everything else are almost minimal. So this idea that we have to have a massive corporation and we have to have thingy, for example,
Well, if advertising budgets, I mean, Sean said to me in the last podcast when I was over with him, he said that Halo spent £5 million on advertising to Londoners. Yep. And I thought, I haven't got that sort of money.
But so, I mean, what they really advertised to, they advertised to BMW or whoever it was who bought them out, because that's where their money came from. They got bought out in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in that sense, because I haven't followed it.
Yeah.
And so I went through the costings of it, and the £2 more than covers it, and it was a healthy profit in there for us to actually pay the staff. It's only admin staff as well, and to pay for the ongoing development of the app and the running of the app, and also I reckon about 6 to 8% extra on top of that for, I would say, like an improvement of the app, be a version 2. You'll need to go. We'll need to go and put a proper app in place for the next stage. There's no doubt about it.
So can I be clear then?
It might not hold, for example, I don't know, 15,000 drivers and 2 million customers. I'm not sure what the full capacity of this app will be. So I get the feeling that it's going to need an upgrade.
So if I'm a driver, there's a £2 booking fee.
Yes.
That is on addition of my fare, so I don't lose anything. My fare plus the £2 booking fee, and the £2 booking fee is to you.
Yes.
And so I lose nothing on percentage.
No.
If they pay by credit card, there's normal credit card fees or whatever.
Yep.
So literally,
there are 2 transactions that will take place when if you're a driver and you say, for example, to do a £20 fare. Okay, the app will take the £20 and pay it to you, and will charge the customer a separate fee, £2, and pay it to us.
So what we need now then, Mick, is very, very simple. We need every app driving taxi driver, because a lot of them are not choosing to be on apps for some strange reason, to be on Unify so that any job could be covered. Once you can cover any job, then we can work harder on getting the customer base away from anybody else. And I've always thought this, and this must be what Barbara was along the lines of, if we're unified as working on one app, it's us that can control which app the customers use. You don't need... London doesn't need advertising for the app, because we would be the app. This is the app we use for the trade.
This is why the only thing that I could afford, the only thing we could afford was in-taxi advertising. Mm-hmm. We couldn't afford to get to 6 million Londoners, and even then we don't know which ones are using taxis and which ones aren't. But everybody that reads these are taxi users.
Yes.
Everybody, all the drivers have customers in the back of the cab. Excuse me, love, do you want to download that app for us, please, love? Yeah, we're all transferring onto this.
And that's this one.
Yes.
Yeah, and the big one as well. It's on the flip seat as well, and that's what the little boxes are for. There's like a little 5 boxes there for the driver to put their number in, right? Because then that associates that customer with you as a driver. Then
who's paying for this at the moment then?
Well, me and Barbara paid for all this.
So it's a little bit of a speculative investment to sort of kick something off.
Yes. At the same time, we don't want the money back.
No.
You don't want it back at all?
No. We did this because we felt as though that we would either give to charity, right? And then we thought, well, if we can do this, we can give more to charity for longer. Mm-hmm. And for us, we've enjoyed spending it, or we did enjoy spending it. Right? Yeah. And I know that some things happened, and obviously, as things progress. So I've got one more batch of these coming, another 1,000 of these coming, and obviously the letters to send out. Then it will drop from those, and you'll just get the can I have that square one? That's it. Then it will drop. You won't get the big flip seat one. You'll get this one, and the flip seat ones will be purchasable online. They're only about £2.
Yeah.
Right, but again, to do that for 1,000 drivers is £20,000. I haven't got that. So. Yeah. But these I have got.
But drivers have got £2 or 6 if you've got 3 seats in the back.
Some have. Right. And the idea of it is that. Because we all benefit from it in the long run. It's an altruistic approach to doing it, and doing it the right way, and doing it. I mean, you've heard it. How many times we heard it for? Oh, it's for the trade.
Yeah.
Well, I've tried to make this for everybody, not just for the trade, because I feel as though we felt as though as well that customers are being ripped off, drivers are being ripped off. Nobody was happy. The customers weren't really happy because they couldn't get all the taxis because they weren't on the apps because they wouldn't. Why would they go on the app? They're being ripped off. So get them all on the same app, get all the customers on the same app. The customers go where the drivers are. And no disrespect to any customer, but the customer don't really care where the cab comes from.
No.
If they can order it on their phone, and they've been well trained by the opposition now that they can order it on their phone, and the taxi or the minicab will come. So if we're not in that phone, we won't be there for them, and they won't order us because they live in their phones now. So if we can do that and charge the TfL recommended £2 booking fee, so everything's in the regulated pricing structure, it could make thousands. Yeah, potentially tens of thousands.
And it keeps the work in our trade. And for a lot of drivers, the problem is the percentage that they're giving away. They've all got the ump about the percentage they're giving away.
Yeah, there's no percentage. This is, and I've had this as well. 0% isn't free. 0% is the equivalent of free. And I know you say, well, what's the difference? You're splitting hairs, but you're not, because if you've built an app on percentages and you've reduced those percentages down to 0. Okay, they are just a click of a button away from going back up again. You feel like you've got enough of a corner of the market. Yeah. Whereas this app, there's no percentage feature built within it. It's been removed and stripped out completely. It is completely 100%. I don't even like to use the word percent. It's completely free.
Yep.
All right, so you can use it when you want and don't use it when you want. And it will never, ever cost the drivers a single penny to run this app, ever. Ever.
Oh, that's marvellous,
I'll switch it off first.
You're going on it, Dave. As soon as you get
I will do.
verified.
Yeah, I
If you don't get,
I don't think he'll have me, but I'll
no,
try.
yeah. I think TFL might be in touch about the nasal sprays up the nose.
Yeah, there'll be a copyright.
Well, I don't work nights no more, so you're safe.
They've got that copyrighted on the film, haven't they?
Yeah.
Right. But so that's kind of the basis behind it, and we've just felt as though these charities do such brilliant work for so many people. I mean, I'm not going to say that in 4 or 5 years' time I might be able to just get back some of the stuff that I've put in, but I'm not interested in it really. I'm not. If I can leave this whole app, I'm giving this app to the taxi trade, and I mean I'm giving it to them, right, free of charge, and it's in legacy to my wife.
Yeah.
Okay, we started this together. It's her idea, and since she died, I mean she got cancer, and it became terminal, and our lives stopped for a little while. But even in there, the photo you got there, that's about 3-4 weeks before she died. There, she got wigs made, and she carried on as well. But even the old boy beside her, he's got his arm on her, bless him, right? I mean, because the veterans that we helped, they absolutely loved her because she invested herself heart and soul into it as well. She, they're like grandparents and parents to us, really, all these old boys, and they still are to me. And I still see some of these people in the photographs with her there like that, and they're so kind. They all remember her.
Oh, there's Mr. Swire in the top there as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Look.
it was the same
Oh,
day.
dear.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the same guy as the one Richard was on with the 80 badge.
Yeah.
So,
It was a big guy.
yeah, big guy.
Yeah, big
Shiny
guy.
head.
Big, yes, veteran. Yeah.
Nice lad, yeah. Yeah, so we're to do with the app, so I gave it to the trade, and I need to look after this app and to make sure that it's kept, because I think mostly keep it away from all of us. Right? 'Cause we're all our own world's worst, aren't we? But I'm going to actually ask to have this trust. I'm going to get a trust made up, and I'm going to actually ask. I mean, I haven't, be careful what I say on here now, right? But I'm actually going to ask some of the trade orgs to have an overview over it, so that they can know that we're actually giving the money to charity, that we're not sitting there siphoning off the top, and that we are protecting it for the trades. You know what I mean? And the people that are influential within the trades, like yourself, you know, like Sean, for example, like Grant Davis and Steve McNamara, people who have a certain amount of trust and faith in. If those guys are all united in saying that this is the right thing and the right way forward, and I think really we can draw strength from that as a trade, because it's our division really that's actually uniting us in a way.
To a degree, yes.
Yeah, if we're all coming back and we're all going, you know, this is it. I mean, this is a chance, I think, in a lifetime. I don't think anyone's ever going to do anything like this and offer this trade a free app like this ever again.
Well, the concept was there. It's been there for about 20 years, the concept. And lots of people have tried to springboard into that. But I thought Taxi App was that.
So did I.
But obviously they had their problems.
But this has come, I mean, really, I think every single platform, every single one of them out there, it doesn't mean you go all the way back to radio cars and looking at history, they're all commercial ventures. They're all,
Yes.
You know, I mean, and
It doesn't need to be.
Well, this is a commercial venture, but it's minimum low to no profit.
Yeah.
But even then, the profit's going from that
Charity.
back into into taxi charities.
Right.
All right. So which supports the taxi driver support.
So the magical mystery
all
tour
of them,
and whatever.
All of them, yeah. The Albany charity. There's a list on my website on there. There's 6 charities that I've put on there.
Might use his charity.
Yeah, I think one of them are under the umbrella of the taxi charity for military veterans, things like that. But again, all those charities that are run by taxi drivers as charities and registered charities, they'll be the beneficiaries of this app.
So, Mick, who is it? Just you? Literally just you?
Yes.
There's no left hand and right hand man. It's just
I've
you.
got my sister helping me. She's my admin staff.
Right.
Bless her. And I've got my son. He's in the photographs as well at the bottom.
Yep.
He's receiving his badge from Ma'am Gerard, and it still scares me even to think of her. I got 9 Ds out of that.
Yeah,
lady.
yeah.
But she's lovely. But she just highlighted how stupid I really was.
Well, so the feeling's mutual.
Yeah,
No, so the app is mine. It's just solely me. I've not borrowed any money. I don't owe anybody any money. I've not got the house on this. Every other penny that I ever had is invested in this. All of it. I mean, I could have walked away with my TXE paid for and my son with a brand new TXE, and we could be out there cab free at the moment, rent free, having happy days.
Should have done that, son.
Right, yeah, but it's not what she wanted. I mean, even,
No,
this
that's
is
true.
my youngest son was about to get married, and we'd gone to Cornwall to get some R&R, some rest and relaxations, just about a couple of weeks after our 40th wedding anniversary. And we were down there, and we were having the talk you never want to have, because we knew that she was ill. We thought that she'd get to my son's wedding, but we knew she wasn't going to make Christmas. There was at that stage. So when I was just asking her, you know, what should we do with this? What should we do? You know, that. And then I said, what do you want to do with the money? Because she had a little bit of money left. You know what I mean? Not hundreds of thousands, you know, got 30, 40 grand left in there. And she just looked at me. She held me. She even held me out. She went, you make it work, Mickey. You make it work.
Oh, don't me.
I know, but I couldn't do it, right?
We've all choked up.
And we're sitting there.
Don't do it, don't do it.
I can't leave those words. I shut my eyes every night, and every night when I go to bed, I get, make it work, Mickey, make it work.
Yeah.
And at odd times, I feel like she's come back to me because I'm sitting there thinking, oh, God, how am I going to do this now? I've got this app done. And before you know where you are, the taxi people, the taxi charities, they write a piece in the paper, and all of a sudden there's a bit of advertising comes out, and you get a boost, and you get a pickup from it, and you go on again, and all of a sudden, and it just keeps growing like that. You know what I mean?
Well, Paolo put me onto you, and then it kind of came from two directions. I don't know if you have Paolo Almeida. He's said to me, you know, you need to meet
he's
Mickey.
a driver. I think he's signed up.
Yes, and he's going to be great for the trade. He's going to be a real proper voice, and it maybe things are changing for the better for the trade. Maybe we're moving away from the schoolboy mindset. I do have a saying: making a trade better than it never was. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because everyone harks back to the years gone by, and I think they've been at each other's throats for years.
Yeah.
So I think if we're unified in our distrust of each other, and I think there's a healthy level of distrust of apps from all the drivers, because we've all been lied to many, many times. So with that level of distrust, they know what to look for. You don't lie to them again, you know, and so that's there, you know. And now I think to myself, and the amount of drivers I've had this, and I feel quite angry for some of them. I've been on the rank, and you get someone, you mention apps, and it's like red rag to a bull. And they're up effing and blinding, and you think, Christ almighty. But that's been caused by the fact that they've been led down a garden path. Oh, come on, us, we're all in it together. It's all for us, lads. And also, no, it isn't. You know, and then they do it again. Another one does it, and then of course, again, you know, with even previous ones have done it again, all in it together. And I thought, well, we're not, are we? And I thought, well, really? So I just did this. Right.
Well, you're going to hit some kind of wall, because Halo hit the wall when they decided to have two-tier platform for the minicabs. Yeah. And it was like, for me, that's just a business decision. So what has that got to do with the trade? But the trade killed it. Yeah. But luckily, I hope that Trevor got some money out of it, because they kind of sold or whatever. And then people were jealous that if they did get money out of it, they didn't want anybody to earn out of it.
If this comes off as it is, we could end up generating so much need that we will not be able to meet that need. Right, and so we're looking more customer demand than we have taxis for, because we're down to 15,000 taxis, and I'm fully expecting that, and I'm like that, happy days. We're as busy as we can be. Can we have more taxis, please? Yeah. But if they want a minicab, they've got apps for that already. Yes. They don't need them on my app. Yeah. All right, they don't need them on here. And if I put bloody minicabs on here, I've got eternity of shame to face, mate. I ain't got, you know.
No, that's the thing.
I can't do that, and nor would I ever do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why I also think the app needs protecting. Because people will allow the little pound signs to start springing up in their eyes.
Well, it's only you, Mick. So, you know, if you've got that control and you spread that. And it does seem to me that the guys that who run Taxi App, and then the guys who are upset about Taxi App, the guys who are upset about it, they were kind of investing time and energy into trying to make it work. And had they maybe just done it for free and not had a subscription, maybe they would have had some success. I don't know.
I think if Taxi App had done what they were doing and stuck to what they were doing, this wouldn't probably be here, because there would be no need for it.
How long did it take you to get from when zero app to where you are now? How long has that taken?
About a year.
Very quick.
I don't know, when was the bust up of Taxi App?
Oh dear, I don't know. I don't keep up. About a year or so.
It started just after that.
Yeah,
it couldn't have started before it, because we were all invested, and we sat there like that. And it's when Barbara said, "You do it." I said,
"You do it."
I can't do it. I think it's just she went. I said, "I can't do that." She said, "You got a degree." She said, "If you put your, I know." She said, "If you put your mind to it."
There's a degree in paper mache, though.
I say that to my eldest daughter all the time.
She said, whatever she said, "Well, go and find out." She says, "You got a laptop in front of you." She said, "You can go on the internet and find out where you need to go." look up app company. I don't think, so sometimes with a bit of guidance, you'd be surprised how far
Motivation,
you can go.
yeah.
Well,
you've got this far, which is really...
Well, I'm going to be honest with you now, with the amount of motivation that I've got now, and I'm going to be honest with you, the personal cost of this to me now is more than any man should ever pay for anything, really. And that's why I'm so heavily invested in doing it and doing it the right way and making sure that it gets protected. Now, when I'm finished with this app, I've got my son who's a cab driver, he's on there, and it'll pass down to him, and it'll be his mum and dad's legacy then, and he'll cherish it as well. And I've said it before, my grandkids want to be influencers on the bloody internet and professional football. But once reality comes
I know. Isn't it terrible, eh? Our kids aspire to be influencers.
But I don't know what sort of protections that you could verbally put in place that would appease people that have been lied to time and time again. What can you do? So that's why I'm sitting there thinking that I'm going to ask people that are influential in the trade and give them permission to have an overview of it at the end of the year to make sure that it is being used correctly. I mean, they can't own it, because once they all own it, it then starts getting divvied up between them, doesn't it? So you can't have that, because that's what always happens.
No, you can't have it.
We become our own worst enemies.
Yeah.
But if
it's a trust.
Yeah, again, but if you're looking at someone and say, look, I've done this as a trust, can you just cast your eye over it to make sure that it is a trust? You'll do it with that coldness that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I think that's really maybe a way that we can actually not so much win the trade. I'm not trying to win drivers over. I'm trying to allow them to have their trust, if you like, and put that trust in someone else again, because they've had it ripped from them. And I don't think that's a very nice place to be as a human being anyway. That all your hope and trust and faith in someone has been removed from you, and no one can give you that back. No one can actually come and say, look, here's your trust back. You can't do it, and you've been lied to and brutalised in a way. But if someone comes along that you can then start to have faith in and start to have trust in, you can build that from within yourself again. And that might actually do quite a lot to right a lot of wrongs that I see in taxi drivers when I speak to them, because a lot of them have got that anger within them, and it doesn't need to be there. You know what I mean? But that's that's a different, something different away from what we're doing. But it's there, isn't it?
So let's get to the nutshells of it again, so we can reiterate. First of all, if we can get it, if every single driver goes on this, you lose nothing by going on it, zero. But then you're in a position to grow and for the trade.
What about numbers? You said there's 1,500 on there.
Just a pro. I'm not
roughly. We're not going to hold you to it. Right? But what's the sort of figure that we want on there?
We need on there, I think, to cover the map, I mean, we got the map now. I don't want to give any praise to the congestion zones, but you've got the congestion zone in the middle, and then you've got your north circular, south circular, then you've got your outer zone. To cover that map in the middle, you're looking at about 3,000 drivers. And then you'll start to be able to cover it 24 hours a day.
So you're not that far off.
Not far off at all.
That's not,
I mean, 50% of my target. But this is all new to me, this level of targeting. And I'll come back to that again in a little while. To cover that up to North Circular, South Circular, I'm looking for about 7,000 drivers.
Yep.
Right, because that's also going to start bringing in the yellow badge drivers who will be critical for this, in my mind.
Yes.
Right, and that's also why I got live howl, so that everyone's protected in their own zones. So that it's to stop people. So if it's a live howl, you know what a pre-booking looks like. You go on the system and you fill it out. I want to be picked up from here, taken to there, and then you post that up, and you have to wait for it to be picked up by somebody else, and then they're going to come back and get you. Everything else is a live howl, isn't it? If you come and get me now, that's a live howl. So I class that as an e-howl, right? So and I put that in there to protect everybody in their zones.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody can do pre-books anywhere. I mean, that law's been passed and that's gone ages ago, but e-howl is still protected, and if we don't look after it, we'll lose it as a trade. And I think it's vital that we look after the e-howl. So I put that in there. And when the yellow badges are going to actually need it to cover their zones. And I think that if we can generate the level of demand that I'm anticipating now, then I'm actually hoping that we can actually increase the numbers of taxis. I think we'd like to build this trade back up again, because I think there is a need for taxis, because the others have proven themselves to be exact opposite of what they promised to be. They came in, didn't they, at 40% of cost. We all knew that was never going to happen and never going to be sustainable. But the tax man's caught up with them now. And there was his VAT, and the driver's got to pay tax, and they can't pay tax on an Uber wage and live, and they know that, so they've got to ramp the prices up.
So it's costing you nothing to have it on, does it? It costs you nothing a month, nothing to have it on.
Nothing to lose.
And and you're going to lose no percentage by doing a job.
But you are going to support, you have an opportunity to support and grow.
Yeah, it's free to drivers.
I think it's great.
Again, completely free to drivers.
So every driver listening to this, just sign up. Just sign up, give it a go. You're not going to get jobs immediately. No. Let the thing grow. build it up slowly, see what happens. You've got nothing to lose, and if it works, wow, everything to gain.
I did for the drivers. You guys are 100% right there. You really are. It will never cost them anything. Just download the app, sign up for it. Please use the driver's app, not the customer app.
Yeah, use the driver's app.
Well, we restricted it to one, so you can either have a driver or a customer, because we're trying to cut down the amount of accounts that people can have to stop other people from getting in and hacking in through your system. So if it recognises the phone number, it won't let you in. It's already all that number's already being used. It makes it harder to get in. Not impossible, but hackers are clever at that, aren't they?
But aren't you losing out there, because the 1,500 cab drivers? I'm also a customer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but you've got more than one phone, haven't you? I know.
Oh,
Drug dealer. and wives and partners have phones as well.
And put it on theirs.
Like myself. I mean, I've got two phones. I've got one that I use for work
multiple
and
phones.
a personal phone.
Yeah.
So I got my work on here, the apps on this one, and the customer apps on this one.
Right.
And
there's ways around it.
Yeah, there are ways around it that you can do that, and it seems to be working anyway for the most part. There was utter chaos at the beginning because the press got ahead of me by about a week and published it. It went out online. Went on an online mag. I think it might have been Taxi Leaks. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
Someone did a piece on me, but I'd only just released the apps to the Google store and to the Apple. Apple came back almost instantly. Yes, they're fine, they're checked. Google came back, passed the customer one, but didn't pass the driver one for another 4 days.
Yeah.
So all the drivers that were on Android were downloading the customer app, and then when the driver app came out, they couldn't get on that either. So they said,
you get those problems.
and this app's crap because
and
and
then that annoys me. When this app's crap.
Well, I understood
Jesus,
it. So
give us a chance.
I spent. I don't know. I must have deleted about 300, 400, 500 customer accounts from drivers.
Yeah.
It was, in a way, it was a good thing to have because it meant they were downloading it. And this is where my figures changed, because previously to that, I was looking at this from 600 to 800 drivers and make money for charity. Since then, it's just gone off.
Yeah.
And 1,500 drivers, and there's drivers out there and the organisations out there saying, this is it. And I'm thinking, what's it? And they're going, this we can all get behind this.
Yeah.
And then the numbers just went mental, so I stopped doing them.
Yeah.
I haven't done the number. It's crazy.
Oh, well, let's get it to 3,000 by the end of the week.
Well, no, I didn't mean them numbers. I'm about the other numbers. Like, if you look at 3,000 drivers, they do one job a week each. That's $6,000. Come the end of the bloody year, that's $300,000
For charity.
Yeah, but I think, what the fuck am I going to do with that? I don't need it. So I'll pay the app and I'll pay the staff and I'll put the money in there like that. And that's 3,000 drivers doing one job a week. It's mental.
The money that's involved. So now, on that basis, we know what they're earning, because they're actually taking money, the other firms, money off the percentage, money off the credit card, money from the booking fee. They are getting it.
They can't. What surprises me as well is that they're not going to turn around and go, oh, Micky Harris, look at him, oh, he's won, let's go home. They reckon not with the amount of money that's involved, they got to do something. I can't see them doing nothing. Can you? Yeah. What I mean, get them free now. Not going to turn around and say, oh, let's go home. I tell you what I did do as well was I don't see the little sheet of paper there, like that one, the other one, the little folder one. Yeah, open that up in the middle of there. Oh, yeah. I got customer trees in there. Yeah. Right now, what that is with that, every time if you sign up a customer, that customer is linked to your account forever. If you sign up a customer. Right. So, and then what happens is every time that customer uses the app, no matter who they travel with, 10 pence of their ride money, so 10 pence out of £1.20 goes into your reward pot at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Paid out in January the 31st.
What's a reward pot?
That's what you'll get paid out in January the 31st. So if you encourage customers to sign up...
Yeah.
That customer is always yours.
Always yours forever. At the end of the year, January the 31st, your reward pot is emptied out and paid to you.
Yep.
Okay, and the customers stay there, and then as they use them next year, so your reward pot people pick up again.
That's a nice idea.
And you keep those forever, those?
Yeah, the customers are yours for as long as you're on the app, and as long as they're on the app, please don't lose your badge. We couldn't go through that many customers trying to reallocate them, but it's great. We just can't be done. So please don't lose your badge as far as it's concerned. And we just did it to try to encourage the drivers to sign up customers. And as silly as it sounds, if I got 1,000 drivers, I've got 1,500 drivers, if they sign up 10 customers each, one a week. In 10 weeks' time, we've got 15,000 customers.
Yeah. So, Mick, it's a fantastically wonderful idea.
Just trying to make it fair for everyone. On the back of that, on the reverse of that sheet that you got there, Dave.
Yeah.
Right. Again, that's all the stuff that you can download off the site. That's all what you were asking for, all the PDFs. So that I'm trying to make everything as open as possible. I'm keeping no secrets. People ask me questions, and I try and answer them as openly and as honestly as possible. And that's it. So everyone knows exactly where I stand, and everyone knows exactly where I'm going.
I don't think you'd be more honest than you have.
And to be honest with you, I mean,
I don't think so.
The charity side, it worried me at first as well, because people often do. You often hear a story, it's for charity, but my charity credentials were well established before I did this. I mean, even in here, like in the taxi mag, they've done pages on me before for my charity work, way before the app existed.
Yeah.
I think this one was recently. It was with Mike Hughes as well in there. But
Mike's always been doing stuff for charity. He's a busy bloke, Mike.
He's definitely someone should come on.
Mike Hughes, but he might not shut up, Mike.
He picked me up during COVID with the wife.
Did he?
We was out for having a drink, and he come and picked us up.
Once you made it away, did it?
He's done the knowledge twice, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's from Wales, and he's done the knowledge twice, I think he did it in the 70s or something like that.
Yes.
You have to get him and ask him.
And he was a Brighton taxi as well.
From London, didn't he? And he gave it all up, and he came back and he had to do the knowledge.
I like this next bit.
What's that?
He used to be a business advisor for the Prince's Trust, and he gave me guidance on what I needed to do in order to get my app up and running, what I need to do, what I need to do for planning, preparation, make sure that I got these bits of paper, crossing these T's and dotting these I's.
To get funding?
No, not to get the funding, but in order to put it all together so that I knew how to put a business plan forward, so I can actually knew what I was doing, so that I could actually go through with it.
Oh, he's super knowledgeable, Mike. And
also so that he's actually tried to give me like spreadsheets as well, so that I could actually work out at what stage I could actually become self-sufficient.
Yeah.
I think I'll be old and grey, or I already am. But
you'll be greyer.
But he's been very, very helpful and very supportive, and he's done that through the charity. And I think we got a picture of us there at the TV studios in GB News when we were on there for Poppy Cabs last year. It's on the other side. You passed it.
Where is that?
Oh, it's not in that one. It's on here. Sorry, it's up there, like that one.
Oh, yeah.
We did that for Poppy Cabs for Remembrance Sunday. They had us both in for GB News, and they were talking about the charity work that we were doing then.
What else you got there, Mick, to show us? Is that a picture of your dear wife?
Okay, this was obviously... I didn't have many photographs of her as a child. I don't know, has that caught that on the camera?
It has, yes. It's got it lovely.
That was that one. And then, because when we did a lot of work for charity anyway, so we actually got an award, part of the award, for the taxi charity for military veterans, which we both got awarded. Got the Queen's Award.
Oh, wow!
Still waiting for the King's Award, so I can put them both up together.
Well, maybe coming soon.
But I'm not going to get a King's Award. That's me asking.
I know Prince Charles personally. Prince Charles,
right,
King Charles.
All right, Chaz, Camilla.
King Charles Spaniel, He
watches this podcast.
He does. He writes in every week saying, "Can we talk about this? Can we talk about that?" I said, "No, Charles, no." So, Mick, I really do support what you do. I did see you on Sean Paul Day's podcast and thought that you looked like a absolutely genuine person, and this is a complete passion. I really hope it's a massive success. I'm really pleased that you came in to tell us about your story and everything else that you've gone through. I
would like to add one thing to the end of that, if I can, because I'd like to say thank you genuinely to the drivers out there that have actually stepped up already and have given me such support. And I mean everybody. I mean the comments that you have been saying and the nice things that you've been saying, and how much hope and how much, if you like, faith that you've got in this app, which hasn't proven to be the utmost of successes yet, but it has the potential to be so. But they've actually pushed forward with this, and they're giving me such a lift and a push behind, making me go forward and taking it on to greater heights than I ever anticipated it to actually become. It was to be a force for generating money for charity, and it seems as though they've all taken it as a force to support and rescue the trade and support charity in a massive way. So I'm very grateful for that, and I don't know if I could ever be able to repay that to the drivers apart from just to say a heartfelt thanks, really. But I mean, sometimes what they're doing is amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. Even like yourself now. It's just
but you have to pay me for this.
I don't mind. I've got a packet of number 6. You're all right. And but I am so grateful to them, genuinely.
We'll put that on it. Brilliant. Dave, anything to add there?
No, I think it's a marvellous thing that he's doing. I really do. I think it's by far the best app, isn't it, already? I mean, whether the workload's there, obviously it's not going to be there in a month, is it?
No, that's the point.
Well, it's not going to be.
Grow with it. Stay on it and grow with it.
I'm sure when you see David Frampton come on, you'll be giving me the Simon Cowell Red X.
Yeah.
I actually think that there's a larger story.